What is up, guys? James Carter TV here to recap the Tennessee Titans loss to the Buffalo Bills. And this is coming from a Tennessee Titans fan. I am a Tennessee Titans fan, so I'm going to talk about them primarily. And then later on in the video, I will get into the results of week 5, the 1 p.m. games. And yet another bad week for me picking, man. This is not my year, but we'll get into that later. All right, so the Tennessee Titans lose to the Buffalo Bills, and this loss is spelling a lot of gloom and doom for Tennessee Titans fans. They're upset. They want Whisenhunt to be fired. They want this change. They want that change. And I just want to say, calm down. They lost by 1 point. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, excuse me, they lost by 2 points. They've lost by a combined 3 points in the past 2 games. This is not time to have the dumpster fire, to start throwing things, to start yelling, to be upset. This is not the time. Is it disappointing? Yes, because both of these games should have been won. And that is something that if you watch either of these games, the Titans were up in both games. Against the Indianapolis Colts, they were up 27-14. In this game, they were up 10-0, 10-0. And both games they lost. And, it's unfortunate, but hey, this is a young football team, especially the offense. You have Marcus Mariota at quarterback, 21 years old. You have Jeremiah Poutasi at right tackle. He's 21 years old. You have left tackle Taylor Lewan, who's like 24. You have Brian Schwenke in the middle, who's like 25. Kendall Wright on the outside, who's your best receiver, and he's like 26. Harry Douglas just sucks. Delaney Walker can't stay on the field. So when you have this formula, your offense is going to be inconsistent, and they are very inconsistent right now. We could definitely use an influx of veteran free agents in the offseason. It sucks I'm already talking about the offseason, but this is what I'm thinking about. Because this is still a young football team, and they need to learn how to win. They're too inexperienced. Even with the rebuilds that the Redskins had, like, for example, with the Redskins. Okay, so RG3's rookie season, he had a Pierre Garçon on the outside, a veteran receiver. He had a Trent Williams who had been a really good tackle for quite a while down there in Washington. He had guys there that were veterans on that offense. See, Marcus Mariota, he's just with a bunch of kids. I mean, he's the best guy on the field, and they just need to learn how to win games. It's unfortunate. Yeah, I know it sucks. We got excited. We were thinking that the AFC South was possible to win, and it still is. But, this just goes to show us we still have a little bit ways to go. And I'm going to defend Ken Whisenhunt really quick because a lot of people are asking for his job. After a couple of conservative 4th down calls, I mean, honestly, I would have gone for it on a number of these calls, but really, is that the reason why we lost the game? We didn't put up points, not because of those calls. We didn't execute. And, I mean, there's always, whenever a team loses a damn game, we always like to point to one reason and say, that's the reason. Whenever you lose one game, there's at least 15 reasons. At least 15 reasons why you lost the game. I can name you 10 right now, but I'll name you 5. Okay, the receivers couldn't get open. The receivers couldn't catch. The running game was non-existent. The offensive line couldn't protect for more than 3 seconds. Marcus Mariota had a bad interception at the end of the game. That's 5. All of which are not on Ken Whisenhunt. I mean, and I could go 10 more. And I haven't even gotten to the defense. I haven't gotten to the special teams that has gotten none plays since 2012. Okay? So there are issues on this football team beyond the head coach. Now, do I believe Ken Whisenhunt is a top 10 head coach? Hell no. But I don't think you need a top 10 head coach right now. Now, once this team gets to the playoff point, I think they may stall under Ken Whisenhunt. Then you fire his dumb ass, and then your position and your opportunity there becomes attractive to other potential head coaches. So they say, hey, they have a franchise quarterback, they have a playoff team caliber. Hey, I want to go there, and that way I can just bring them to the next level. That's where I'm at. I know Ken Whisenhunt isn't probably going to lead us to a Super Bowl. I know right now he's doing a good job developing Marcus Mariota, and until he gets us to a point where we are stalling, then you can get rid of him. But we're not there yet. I mean, coming into the season, we knew, or we thought, this was going to be a 6 or 7 win team. And that week 1, it got us a little too excited. This is still probably a 7-win team right now. Now, lucky for us, that leaves us in the division race, because I don't think the Colts are going to be better than 9-7. So we're still be in the divisional race. But guys, we're young. You know, these guys just need to grow out there, learn, take their hits, take their licks, and do better. What really sucks for me is that it's... our home fans are going through it, man. We haven't won a home game since October of last year to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Okay? So, this is for the 2nd straight week. We've lost the home game. I mean, sooner or later, these fans are just going to stop coming. That's my biggest fear right now. Next week, we face the Miami Dolphins. You got to win. You got to win that football game, man. The Dolphins are not a good football team. And because it's a young team, if they lose next week and their confidence gets too low, man, these losses could start adding up real quick. The slippery slope may start, and I really want to avoid that, because you see with teams in NFL history, rarely are like 2-14 teams really that bad. What happens is they're not very good, and then once they start losing, they just can't stop. So break the trend next week. Beat the Miami Dolphins. They're coming off of a bye week. They have the new head coach and whatever. Beat them next week, with the slippery slope may start, because the week after that you face the Falcons, the week after that you go to the Texans, the week after that you go to the New Orleans Saints, the week after that you host the Carolina Panthers. You need to win next week, or the loss of confidence could be detrimental to this football team. And as for the Buffalo Bills, they underwhelmed today. They got away with it. They may continue to get away with it, because in the AFC wildcard picture, I think there's only 3 teams that are in that picture, and they are the following. The San Diego Chargers, for now, because if they lose tomorrow, they're going to knock down a peg. The New York Jets and the Buffalo Bills. That's it. The Baltimore Ravens are not making the wild card. They are now 1-4. Forget it. The Pittsburgh Steelers, I don't know, man. If they're unable to win with Michael Vick, I think they're going to fall out of the race. But yeah, I'll include them. Okay, fine. They're in the wild card race. But only 4 teams are really in the wild card race. The Chiefs, forget about it. So this was a big win for the Bills, because they're in that wild card race. They're not going to win their division. There's no way. The Patriots are too good. So in that wild card race is a big win for them. They couldn't afford to lose today. Now, with all that said, let's go into the results of Week 5, 1 p.m. games. I'll give you just a small takeaway for each and every game of the 1 p.m. game. So let's start with Jay Cutler, who went to Kansas City and got it done. Now, yes, the Bears were deflated after Jamar Charles snapped his knee up. He'll be out for the season. This is very unfortunate for the Kansas City Chiefs. But Jay Cutler, man, hey, Bears fans, you thought you were going to get Jared Goff? No, no, no. You're stuck with Jay Cutler for now. And I mean, honestly, this coaching staff was always way too good to be the worst team in the league. When you have John Fox, Vic Fangio, Adam Gase, you're not going to be the worst team in the league. The Bears are still going to win 6 games at least. I had them winning 7 before the year, and I'm going to stick with that. So, they keep winning games. And as for the Chiefs, you're done. You're finished. You lost Jamar Charles. You lost this game. You're 1-4. You may be picking top 10. Actually, it's looking like you will pick top 10. Maybe we should be thinking about top 5. Maybe we should raise an eyebrow and say top 5, because that's the way you're trending right now. It's not good. Your schedule is really difficult. And I tried to tell you Chiefs fans before the season, hey, your schedule is too difficult. You're not going to do well with this tough-ass schedule. And you guys yelled at me and you cried at me. Well, this is what's happening. Overall, though, you guys will be back next year when your schedule is easier. So just wait till then. Now, the Seattle Seahawks went to Cincinnati and lost. Wow, Andy Dalton finally won a big playoff. Actually, no, not a playoff game, but finally won a big game outside of that Broncos win last year. And now I am going to buy into the Bengals, but just slightly. Like, I'm going to have a foot in that Bengals pool. I'm not going to just dive in there yet because I'm still cautious. They were down in this game and they were looking like the Bungles once again. And in the playoffs, let's say they get a first round bye, they get a little relaxed. Who knows who's going to come in there and they could upset them. So, I don't know about the Bengals yet, but for now they're 5-0 and they look like they're going to be at least a 12-4 regular season team, and that's good for them. As for the Seattle Seahawks, you guys need to start winning games. You guys have lost every game you can afford up to this point. For the rest of the half of the season, you need to win games because now you're playing a dangerous game. Now, lucky for you, the NFC wild card isn't too stacked. Like right now, the Panthers are in there, the Vikings are in there, and that's kind of it. So you guys could get away with losing some games, but I wouldn't play that game. You guys better start winning games. All right, so next, let's go to Baltimore, where they're done. It's a shame because the Ravens, they've been a perennial playoff team. And they will be again, but this year they're not as good. Their defense, their secondary just allowing too many points. Josh McCown went off today. You can't allow that. The Ravens are just having a down year. It's just as simple as that. It's a shame. The Browns, though, still not a playoff team. I'm not buying that. All right, next game. Green Bay beat St. Louis. There's really no takeaways here. Aaron Rodgers threw his 2 interceptions. Jeff Fisher plans to kill Todd Gurley. Yes, Todd Gurley had 17 carries in the first half. This is Fisher ball to the max. We'll see if they can win next week. I have no idea who they're playing next week, but we'll see if they can win next week. We have the Atlanta Falcons. They beat the Washington Redskins, but they were scared for a little bit. This game went to overtime. Kirk Cousins did his thing until he didn't, and he threw an interception, and that was all she wrote. The Falcons, though, they still have an easy schedule. This week they go to New Orleans, who I will get to in a minute. So New Orleans will continue to benefit from their easy schedule. As for Washington, they continue to be a dangerous team, looking like a good 7-win team that is going to sneak up on folks. Be very careful when you're facing the Washington Redskins. Now, let's go to New Orleans. Now, I really, really, really wanted to have faith in New Orleans and believe that, hey, once they get Jairus Byrd back, once they get Danielle Ellerbe back, once they get someone on for Keenan Lewis back, they're going to be a better defensive team, but they're not. And this week they're going to go, they're hosting Atlanta. Philadelphia continues to be the most unpredictable team in the NFL. New Orleans, yeah, you're done. No playoffs for you. There was still a little bit of a chance you needed to win this game. You didn't. And now you're going to host the Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to pick against you, but it wouldn't surprise me if you win that game. It really wouldn't. But, man, playoffs this year, no. And that Sean Payton schism is going to start breaking a little bit. Oh, things are going to get a little hot down in New Orleans. Jacksonville lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, why Jacksonville was ever a team of optimism, I don't understand. Look, guys, you can't name 5 players on that Jacksonville Jaguars defense. Why? Because they're bad. And the guy they signed to come in there and be good, Jared Odrick, isn't playing very well. Derek Marks has been banged up. I think he came back this week, but he's still not healthy. Their secondary is ass. Their linebackers are bad. No matter what you may think about Paul Posluszny, they're bad. They're still a bad football team. I mean, you know how low this team was in terms of the talent, in terms of pedigree to the rest of the NFL. Like, the rest of the NFL was up here. The Jaguars were down here. And slowly, they're starting to reach the level where you can consider them to be on the same level as the NFL teams. But now they're 1-4. And they're almost there. Like, I mean, as a Tennessee Titans fan, we haven't been good the past couple of years. Like, we went 6-10, like 8-8, 7-9, whatever. The Jaguars would love to reach that level. They still have a way to go for that. But hey, at least Blake Bortles played well today, except for that interception that pretty much cost them the game. All right, so that's it. All right, that's all the 1 p.m. games. My picks weren't great this week, man. I guess I'm just going to start picking the popular picks because that's what I have to get down to. I trusted the Chiefs today. I think everyone did, so that's not a big surprise. I thought the Seahawks would win. I thought the Ravens would win. I thought the Titans would win. I thought the Saints would win. And I was wrong. Thank God I didn't trust the Jaguars, though. That is my one saving grace thus far. Until next time, James Carter TV, I'm out. Peace.